Yo, what's up, Panther fans? It's your boy, the Professor, coming to you live Tuesday night, 25 minutes late. It is the C3 podcast discussing all the things Carolina Panthers fan related. Glad in some ways to be here tonight. In some ways, I'm very frustrated. Actually, I'm 99.9% frustrated, not only after a rocky start, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
We had a rocky 2 weeks. How do you feel? And I don't want to spend too much time on the game because I think we we've been, I don't know if bemoaned is the right word, but we have moaned over this game over and over, or for some time now. So Joe, say hello. What's on your mind?
What up, Panther Nation? It's your boy, the freaking Puerto Rican, coming to you live from the low country of South Carolina. It's been a very rough 2 weeks, but we got to shake it off, get focused, and come back fired up, ready to play some football. Um,
Can we? Can we?
we can play
That's my
football, yes.
question. Is is it so weird that we had such high hopes for this team in some ways? We thought that everybody told us there was going to be the regression. Everybody said that this team was going to step back uh, and have some real problems. I saw some validity and maybe in some of those concerns, but I thought they were ill-founded for the why they attributed those. But what I'm saying, Joe, to this is I never saw it being as bad as it's been for this past 2 weeks. At any point, did I foresee it being this horrid? So does that suggest maybe that it's sort of a fluke? Is it really such bad luck that we're just hurt and hardy and all these things that we look like a college team out there?
I think it really is it's like a perfect storm of things, um, all hitting at the same time, and we just have to weather it. We have to get onto the other side of it. That's the only thing we have to do. Um, it would be nice to see. You used a good word the other day when we were talking about this. You used the word non-competitive, and I think that really says a lot. That the team is looking very non-competitive, and that's what we need. That's what we have to have. You got to be excited to go play. You get a chance to go out there and win a game. Um, you get a chance to go out there and smash into somebody. You get to go out there and and enforce your will on somebody else. And that's something that they haven't done, something they were very good at doing last year. We were good at imposing our will on other people. We were good at making teams play to our strengths, forcing teams to do things they didn't want to do because we made them. We don't have that this year, or at least in these last two games. Part of it is Greg Hardy. Part of it is a deficiency at positions, and then the injury bugs. We were so confident in a running game because if this guy didn't do good, we got this guy. If this guy didn't do good, we got this guy. And now we got that guy from Cleveland. That was a free agent. And I don't mean, I mean the guy with the very strange last name.
The free what, Fozzie?
No,
Oh
not
no,
Fozzie. The
you mean?
more recent one.
Oh, well, you know what I call them, but I bet you if Abby Lewis is watching tonight, she calls him Silent G, I think his name, or Silent B. What is
Okay.
a bro you, or a Silent G? It's Silent G, but because my man has got a tough name to pronounce,
Yes, he
when you
does.
when you read it,
Right.
when you actually hear it said, it's not as bad as it looks. But I just
Okay.
call my man Cheese because that picture of him when he was signing his contract, my man was cheesing, wasn't he?
He was. He was like, yeah, I'm getting paid.
I mean, something. Well, I want to know, in many ways, is this correctable? and this is where I get nervous about this, Joe, is that yes, I mean, look, it what I wrote about this past week got well received by a lot of people. Was well received, should I say, by a lot of people. And this is the fact that, like, yes, Dave Gettleman's plan works under the pretense that it's like nothing bad is going to happen. You know, I mean, you're really essentially fielding a team where you hope to compete by holding teams to 16 points each week.
Right.
And our offense has been there. And so what I just feel like is this, is that there was too much of let Cam, you know, Cam is good enough. He's great enough to figure it out. And so now you throw in the ankle. And he can't be a total magician. And the idea that people are floating out right now that he's going to be 100% this week, basically Dave Gettleman lied to everyone because we saw Cam Newton run.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't look anywhere like he could be in the neighborhood. Look, I've had hangovers last longer than the time between they're going to play. You know what I'm saying? Like, from Sunday to Sunday, essentially. So you can't tell me my man can't run on last Sunday. He couldn't. I mean, he was fast walking.
Right.
And then, yeah, he was speed walking. He was at the mall. He was at the mall with the damn weights, holding the weights.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And you cannot tell me that he's ready to go. I mean, obviously he's always ready to go.
Right.
I mean, he's got to be. I mean, what's the other? There are no other options. He's the best player on the team right now, and he's 50%. Maybe not. I mean, obviously not. But seriously, what does that even mean?
They said that they were going to implement the read option more. And
why? What are we going to be reading? What are we going to be reading about?
We're going to be reading that Cam broke his ankle and is out for the rest of the year. No,
like seriously. It just fell off.
Seriously, I think maybe they're putting that out there just so defenses have to kind of factor that in their preparation for this week. But some of this is correctable, Tony. The tackling, the missed tackling part, which is what kills me. Because these guys are taught from the time I'm coaching my son's team, flag football. Even in flag football, we say grab the flag with two hands if you can. You know, so in other words, it's fundamentals. I'm talking about wrapping up. Use both arms. Don't just stick an arm out there and try to bring somebody down. Don't just hit somebody with your shoulder pad, hoping that you're going to knock them over. It's not about that. It's about wrapping up and making sure. And I drilled it into the kids tonight. Responsibility. It's responsibility. You have gap responsibility. These guys haven't done a good job of keeping it, you know, and by not keeping their responsibility, that allows the backs to find the creases and allows the linemen to get to the second level where they're blocking Keithley, where they're blocking Thomas Davis or Blackburn or whoever happens to be there. So it makes their jobs harder. Keithley is at his best when he's able to flow freely and get to the ball. When he's not.
Who wouldn't be though? Who wouldn't be?
I watched Ray Lewis say, or somebody was talking about Ray Lewis say, when he got to Baltimore, the first thing he said was, "You got to get me some defensive tackles. How do you expect me to make any plays if I'm having to fight two guards and a tackle all every time the ball snaps? You got to get me some defensive tackles."
Well, that's an excellent point because we saw that. You know, it's not just conjecture. It's not just talk and defense. We saw Luke Kuechly being blocked by guards.
Yes, and,
you know,
we know that K'Wan Short and that Star Lutulele are able to keep to keep the linebacker clean. We know because they've done it. They did it all season last year, at least the majority of the season last year. So where are they at now? What's changed? What's the difference?
K'Wan Short has played great, man. I don't think that any blame should fall on him. I think he's been the only guy that has played.
Well,
here's the thing: is that Charles Johnson, the invisible man, big money, is hiding his money. And I love Charles Johnson, and you know me because I have been, I'm a bulldog guy.
Right.
So I pull for these cats partially out of loyalty in some ways, even though it's married loyalty. But you got to get into it. And I've always said Big Money is the reason. He's been the reason for this defensive line, and he's like two guys out there, and he's not been two guys. And Rivera comes out and said he had this hip flexor.
Right.
I heard Jim Selania say that he had skinny calves. What do you think about that? He said he lost some weight over the season, over the off season, and he lost it in his calves. I look. We were at training camp, Joe, and I know old Jim Selania is old, right? They call him the old man on the Mac Attack.
Sounds like he's going to be Jim Senilia.
Yes, because we were out there, and I don't know if I looked at any one of those dudes and been like, "Man, he's got skin calves."
Nobody. him and Teddy Bridgewater must do the same calf workout.
Yeah, is that actually they switched? Is that all of a sudden Teddy Bridgewater gave Charles Johnson his calves? Match his
so
little
ridiculous.
I know. All right. Let's get off of that. But you're right. The push isn't coming up the middle as much. But is that Dewan Edwards slowing down? Is that Colin Cole plays more defensive end? Is that right? No,
he's inside there.
So we're unable to get that. Actually, I don't even know. I guess in the run game that has been very problematic. But the defensive line has been so disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And people trying to tell me that Gettleman is this genius, that he's just had like this. He has this plan, and let's just wait. Don't worry, there's a long-term plan. We want to like Coney Ely, we want to like all these dudes, but essentially without Greg Hardy and Charles Johnson healthy, and the new guys, Starr and Short, playing at their best, we're just not getting it done. It doesn't matter. I don't care if it's injuries. I don't care if it's the Greg Hardy saga. Are we tapping out, Joey, this season?
Well, that's what
from the top.
That's what you're saying. You were saying the non-competitiveness. These guys haven't been competing. At least it hasn't seemed like it. Because when they were truly competing, when their heart was really in it, they were killing it last year, man. I mean, they were killing it.
Yeah, destroying people.
Teams dreaded having to play us because they knew they were going to get their tails whooped. This year, it's not been the same thing. I can't believe this can all go to the fact that Greg Hardy's so good. Now, yes, he is good. There's no doubt. I'm not denying that in every way. But at some point, you got to say, look, this man's not here. I got to step my game up. I got to put on my big boy pants and get out there and play some football and not get pushed around like I'm wearing a skirt. I guess I should.
Yeah, I mean, no, you should say that because that's easier. Because I've been saying they've been wearing women's underwear underneath their pads. I mean, that's what they've looked like. So let's talk about that same concept on the other side of the ball real quick. Joey, Byron Bell, he's the worst tackle by Pro Football Focus stats. And I really, to be honest, I don't like the Pro Football Focus. I think it takes the statistics to a level that's just unbearable.
Like baseball.
Yeah. But the idea is that when in baseball, when they're playing in a situation and you have Derek Jeter and it's like, well, he's only 1 in 37 when it's partially sunny, the wind's blowing out of the northwest, and there's a runner on second base in Cincinnati. I mean, that's essentially what it takes it to. So, I mean, Pro Football Focus, it goes beyond to me so much. It's some, but they do have some very friendly statistics. Like, for instance, I can't find any other place in the earth that ranks the left tackles in their performance. So,
Right.
I had our buddy Clyde. I asked him, I said, because he obviously has a subscription. We're too cheap, or I'm too cheap to get it, right? So he sent me the screenshots of the left tackles, and he was 62nd in tackles. So I'm looking at the list. I'm like, why is there 62, 64 down positions? I just want to look at left tackle. No, it looks at tackles.
Whether right or left.
Right. So he sends me a message today, and he says that Pro Football Focus revised the numbers from yesterday and the statistics, and it affected Byron Bell. So he moved from the 63rd, no, the second worst, to the worst. How? What is the problem? I mean, because we all want to like Byron Bell. I think we all wanted to believe in Nate Chandler and Byron Bell. Are they the problem, Joe? Are they that bad? Are they as bad as Pro Football Focus says?
They have their moments, but taken as a whole, yes. I think Ken, in his article today, did a great job of sort of touching on this subject. If you look at the body structure of Bell in particular, he's tall. He's on the tall side, 6'4". Offensive tackles tend to be somewhere 6'5" to 6'7", so he's in that range. But they're built leaner. They're 330, 340 pounds, but they're a little leaner. Where Byron Bell is 340 pounds, but he's more thick. He's like square built, more like a guard. And I think that's where his problem is, because he's so solid. He has trouble trying to get to the quick edge rusher, so he's sort of overcompensating, trying to get out there fast. But that's when they beat him on the inside.
And that's where they beat him a lot.
Yes. Yeah.
They beat him like a drum, like that, where they get him going left too much.
Right. And then with Chandler, I think it's just, man, this is a guy that was playing defensive tackle when he came on the team. So he's just learning this position, and basically it's on the job training for him. You know what
Is
I'm saying?
that real? All right, listen to this. All right, with that being said, we have two. I think they're both undrafted, right?
Yes.
Okay, so you have an undrafted rookie free agent in Bell, who is now an undrafted free agent. He's not a rookie, obviously, anymore.
Right.
And Chandler, the same thing. But when Chandler entered the league, he was playing defense.
Yes.
So now you're asking two guys that weren't drafted at the positions you're asking them to play, and then you're asking them to play potentially two of the most important or highest paid positions on the football team.
I mean, being very honest about what you're saying, Tony, is the number one position on an offense is quarterback. Number two is left tackle. Those are the two most positions, the most important positions. And Bell is being asked to play a position where players make upwards of $12, $13 million a year. And he's doing it for, I don't know how much, but nowhere near that. And he doesn't have it. He doesn't have the ability.
And to remind you this, Joey, is that Nate Chandler supposedly was competing for the left tackle position. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, do you remember when we were reading all those stories? So if Bell, and I want to like Bell, he would be a better right tackle, and he would be an awesome guard.
I think that's where his best position would be. I think he would be a big guard. He's big and physical, and he could, I think he could play that. If you look at Trey Turner, Trey Turner is built very similar to Bell as far as stature. You know, they're not the same height, obviously, but they're both square and blocky built. Um, but yeah, I don't think Bell is at all suited for left tackle, and I think
Okay, so well, we need to put this in
but
perspective
right,
because if that's the case, Joe, if this is the case, what if these guys went down? That's another important question. What if we lost Bell? What if we lost Chandler? What is this team then fielding? So if it's this bad in the and like I said, I want to pull for Bell. I want him to do well at that spot. I want him to work at
to
left guard.
succeed, yes, yes,
Yeah, I mean, of course, but it's not happening on the best day. He's a little nicked up, probably. Just the physicality of football. He
right.
can't be feeling like a good at this moment. But what if he goes down? What then is the drop off? Is the drop off not that bad because Bell is not that
No,
good? I don't think. I think the drop off would be so. I think it would be horrendous.
right.
I think it would be so bad. Essentially, you wouldn't even put a left tackle out there. I think. I don't know what you would do. I mean, but like you might as well not. I mean, I don't know who you would have. It might like me going out there and playing. I mean, it's just a waste of a number. So, if this all is the case, are we well suited and prepared for this season to even compete? And that's where I think this real roster problem comes in, Joey. It's not that Dave Gettleman has been. I'm not calling for him to be fired, but this barely works under the best circumstances.
Right, I think we saw last year the best circumstance as far as Dave Gettleman's plan, albeit Jordan Gross was in, and he's a more than capable left tackle.
Well, he made the Pro Bowl.
Right, and maybe Gettleman was hoping that he would be back.
Well, he didn't treat. We could have had it.
Right, for a reasonable number. That's what. Right, right. He'd have paid him a reasonable number. He wasn't asking for an assorted amount of money. But we don't know the cap figures, and it's tough to put ourselves in Gettleman's shoes because he's been involved in the NFL for like 40 years. Where we've been on the outside of the NFL looking in. He's been in the guts, in the trenches of the corporate NFL. So I believe he has a plan, and I think part of his plan is to try to be competitive with some questionable position choices, and just try to be competitive. And if we can be competitive for a year or two with these less than capable guys, that once we get our salary cap squared away, we can really make some moves. And maybe that's what he's doing. But I mean, there's got to be somebody out there in the free agent market that is an upgrade, even just a slight upgrade. If they come in at left tackle, we can move Bell over to right tackle, where he played last year. Remember? Bell played right tackle last year.
Yeah.
And he did okay. He did better than
he did okay. That's
right.
Another thing. But like Aaron says, he's left-handed, so obviously he should play left tackle.
Obviously not.
He got beat so bad on that first snap, and Frank Garcia was trying to stick up for him today and saying that the crowd noise was a problem. I don't care what the crowd noise is. Is that my man got beat so bad on that first snap, Joey?
Yeah. He got beat so bad they called social services on him, on the Ravens.
Yeah, they called them Adrian Peterson's social worker. All right, so let's move on from this because I don't think we're going to be able to solve this. I think we've already solved this. And this is what upsets me about the Gettleman thing, and this is why I'm not willing to just say he has a plan. Because if this plan requires us to just go from 12-4, from something that, sure, not that we're saying we're going to repeat 12-4, but I'm not trying to go back to what we were in 2012.
Right.
I'm not trying to go back to a 5 or 6 win team. I think we need to be on that 8 or 9 win kind of margin, hoping that we overperform and hit 10 or 11. And I think you could have, with the parts that we have, I feel like you could have at least done. I don't know. I don't know why. So we better see something different. And here's the problem, Joey. So let's move on now because we're not going to do any player of the game last week and all that. We already talked about it. There ain't no player of the game. There ain't no nothing to talk about. We've already talked about what the problem is. So let's talk about the bigger problem, which is we got to play the Bears coming to Bank of America. Thank God they're coming here right now, Joey. Oh my gosh. Imagine going to Soldier Field after they got beat and we got walloped. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Thank God they're coming here. But I barely feel that we have a home field advantage this week. Do you feel even any like kind of like, all right, this team is going to reach down and muster up something? And the reason I'm so negative about it is because that's what I thought we had to do in Baltimore.
Right, I agree. I was expecting Baltimore to be that turnaround game where the team says, okay, this is enough. You know, we know what we have to do. We know who we are. And when they go out and do it. But we competed in that game. We battled, and we made it we were fighting in the first part of the first, until that, in the first part of the game, the early part of the game. I think when Steve Smith caught that tipped pass, it kind of, put the air out of it.
I mean, we were still in it, but I thought you were going to say in the first part of the first quarter. And that might as well have been what it was. Is we competed in that game in the first part of the first quarter. And we could have been in it, but again, just like it was with Pittsburgh, is that like it wasn't that it was out of reach, but it then became out of reach.
Right,
I was not freaking out, and I'm the most freaking out Panther fan that exists. And I wasn't even freaking out in the damn Pittsburgh game. I was like, man, we're really still in this. We're down 10 points, and then Philly Brown, we know what happened. But, you know what I mean? We were kind of like, we don't need to be like barely in games. Why can't we win? Are you saying that we're going to be barely in the Chicago game, hoping that we barely win?
No, I think we have a pretty good chance with Chicago. We're at home. They're coming off a drubbing. I think this game is a big game for them too. But I think Jared Allen did not play last week, and I'm interested to see where he's going to be at on the injury report. So if he doesn't play again, that helps our chances. One of their offensive linemen, I think his last name is Garza. He was out last week, didn't play as well, so he may not play. So if they're banged up on the offensive and defensive line, that's going to help us. You know what I'm saying? The biggest worry I have in this game, Tony, is the receivers. You got 6'5" and 6'5", and fast, athletic, able to jump out the gym. They've got 2 Kelvin Benjamins that have been in the league for 4 years or more, 3 or 4 years or more. I think Brandon's probably closer to 10.
Yeah, Brandon Marshall's been around. Didn't he played in Denver
and Miami?
And Miami 2 or 3, and then he went. He's probably been 10 years close.
Right.
He's at his probably apex if he was healthy at this moment.
Right. He's sort of mixed up.
Because he's mentally kind of turned it around and matured. He's the mentality is caught up with the physicality or the physique. But Joe, you know what I worry about with this team is that Jay Cutler, if he's on, that dude slings it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Just like you said, they got these receivers and your boy Bennett.
Yeah.
They've got an offense, and we didn't even mention Matt Forte.
Matt Forte, that's right.
So that offense isn't one dimensional. That offense is a well-rounded offense,
Yeah, just
and they're
okay. I was gonna say
so
last week against the Packers, they scored 17 points, but they put up 256 yards throwing, and they rushed 41 times for 5.7 yards per carry average. Okay, as a team,
five what? Five
5.7.
gazillion? Jeez.
5.7, and that's a scary number looking at how poorly we have played against the run, right? Isn't that a scary number?
Joey, you know how scary that number is? Is that when I was writing one of my pieces this week, we actually give up 5.1 yards on average per rush as a team. Did you really hear that number? I don't even know if I can say it out loud.
It does.
We
It just
allow 5.1 effing yards per carry, and they averaged 5.8. That
5.7.
sounds
Yeah,
5.7. And that was last week. You know what that sounds a lot like to me, Joey? Pittsburgh.
yeah.
That's what Pittsburgh did. They walked right into our house. They gave up a ton of yards, but they were rushing a shit ton of yards too
Hmm.
on teams. They have a Antonio Brown who is not like any of the guys on the Bears, but he is awesome. I don't know. I'm scared. I'm worried. My team has let me down a little bit, Joe.
Yeah, it is disappointing. I mean, there's no doubt. And you after those first 2 weeks, you really start to believe that hey, this team is all that they're cracked up to be. This team is legit. And then they get smacked in the mouth in these last two games. And to me, it's like they took the hit and they never bowed up, or they never brought the fight to the other team. They just took it and that was it. And that's where we got to be this week. We got to be like, look, this is our house. What did the Under Armour commercial used to say? We must defend this house. Remember that?
We
Remember
must
that?
defend this house.
Right. Remember that?
Yes.
That's what it is. That's what it is this week. This is our house. We have to win in our house. And the Bears, with all the talent that they have on offense, we have to stop them. And what's the easiest way to stop them? Get to Jay Cutler. Because you're not going to cover Jeffrey, and you're not going to cover Marshall. You might be able to cover Bennett, maybe, but he's leading the team in receptions, I think.
It kind of reminds me. Imagine if you put a quarterback on Tampa Bay.
Put Jay Cutler on Tampa Bay.
Yeah, is that essentially you're facing, and that's what we have to worry about with Tampa Bay in 3 years from now.
Right.
Or maybe not, maybe 3 years, because Vincent Jackson might be over the hill by 3 years. But say in 1 or 2 years you get Vincent Jackson, you get the Mike Evans kid, and you get the Rastafarian Jenkins. Well, I laughed at it anyway. Well, we must have in this house. Maybe that's funny. Rastafarian Jenkins. I mean, but essentially that's what we're playing. We're playing three big ass athletic mofos,
Right.
and that we had no chance. We don't got a chance barely defending two big ass athletic mofos, let alone three. So it's going to be tough. I don't know, Joey. Where do you see this pass rush generated? You know what Aaron is. Aaron right now is in Canada making a Google Earth sale for us, I hope. Maybe that's a little seed money. There it goes out to my boy Noah Mayock.
Yes, Aaron says his thoughts are Frank Alexander's back, and that is going to provide us some
Oh,
help.
gosh. It's the savior.
Right, the second coming. um, you know, I'll say this in Alexander's defense: Ron Rivera said if he was to pick like an MVP of the training camp, that it would have been Frank Alexander. How hard he works, how hard he tried to get better. Those are things you want to hear. Those are things you want to hear. So now it's his chance to prove it. Now it's his chance to come in and say, look, I'm going to put you on my back and I'm going to carry you. Maybe he can inspire the team. Maybe he can come in and play the role of Rudy.
He's the biggest Rudy ever. He's the most giant. If Rudy was a huge black man, then maybe he could be it. So you're trying to tell me that Frank Alexander actually needs to channel a little white dude.
And yes, and bring that team to realize that they're way better than they're playing.
All right, I mean, here's where I don't see it. This is where I don't buy it. I don't buy any of this crap. And I want to. I want to drink it. I want to drink that Kool-Aid with you. But this is where I just don't know if I can make the step over. People said Addison. I even tweeted out, can we even Addison the sacks up? I mean, like, I don't know, it's not like Frank Alexander and Mario Addison are new to this team.
Yeah.
They've been supposedly coming out for the last 3 years as a tandem. Like, they were boyfriends coming out, and they complement each other and all this crap. Addison ain't enough to do it. You know what I'm saying? And then, so all of a sudden, Frank Alexander is the hardest working player in camp and looks so great, but he played Byron Bell every day. No wonder he looks so fucking great. I mean, seriously, is that the only pressure that this defensive line is going to get is on the Panthers' offensive line. So, what I think about this, I mean, I can't buy it. And the reason I can't buy it is it's not that Frank Alexander isn't strong. It's not that Mario Addison doesn't have the speed and all of this jazz. I just feel like it's kind of like a fantasy football team when you're trying to pick the best matchup and you always pick the wrong person, and you bench the wrong person, is that you're doing that on every play. On every play, you're trying to put the exact formation, the exact personnel that works so perfectly. And that's so hard to do. I mean, is he really is he going to come and all of a sudden the pass rush is going to be back? Well, the pass rush stopped when Greg Hardy left.
Well, I mean, you can't say that because he didn't play in the Lions game, did he?
No. But did we get a lot of sacks? I mean, we didn't. We got pressure, but it was not consuming.
No, it was definitely not as if he would have been there. But, Alexander's coming in. He hasn't played at all this year, so he's healthy.
Well, that's good.
Right. He's got no nicks.
I'm glad it's healthy.
And he's fresh. He's got fresh legs. So he should be able to come in and help. I'm not saying he's going to, get 4 sacks in the game.
Does he have thick calves?
I know. Let's ask Jim Siniglia.
We told you we were going to be bringing it strong, the fire tonight. We told you. All right, so you're trying to tell me Frank Alexander is healthy?
Yes, he's healthy. He's got fresh legs, and all I'm saying is he's going to be an improvement over the guys that we've had in there. Wes Horton, I like Wes Horton. He's a hard-working guy, great special teamer, but he's not a first-string defensive end. He's not a guy that's going to be able to bring it. Frank Alexander's been on our team 3 years, 4 years.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, so this is
we're still waiting.
Right.
We're waiting. All of a sudden, it's going to spark. It's just going to blow up. It's going to be Frank Alexander week.
Hey, if he goes in there and gets 4 sacks, we got to be thrilled.
Oh, if he gets 4 sacks this week, Joe, I will buy his jersey. I will buy.
You heard it right here on CarolinaCatChronicles.com. You heard it right here.
I will buy it if my man gets 4 sacks. If he gets 3 sacks, I'll buy his jersey.
Right, and that's what we're hoping for. The Bears. Cutler's not the most mobile of fellows, so we can get some pressure on him. Maybe we can get to him.
Okay, so our defensive line, the problems, our entire defense that has given up
75.
75
Yeah.
points. Let me say that one more time. Our defense has given up 75 points. Not in the whole season. Yes. In 2 weeks. We average that's twice as much as we averaged last year.
Do you know how many points we've given up for the season?
17 in week 1. And we were at the Lions game with 10, so 27. What does that make? About 107?
We've given up 96 points so far this season.
Oh, 96.
Yeah, 96.
27. I guess
so,
that can't be right.
That's what I read.
That can't be right. We gave up 17 points in game 1. 17 plus 10 is 27. That's 3 short of 75 and 27. That's 2 over. That's 102 points.
Maybe they hadn't.
But they didn't add up. What did they not add up?
I don't know. That's what
points that Steve Smith.
Because according to what I read, we were one of 6 teams in the NFC that hadn't given up 100 points yet.
I don't believe that because we gave up 17. I feel like against Tampa. Am I wrong about that? I could be wrong about it.
I don't think it was that high, was it?
Was it 14?
14.
They came back at the end, killing it.
Yeah, they think they got 14.
Okay. Well, that might make it, but still.
But
all right. So essentially, we give up 25 points a game, is what you're saying.
Well, my point
yay.
My point was this, that 75 points out of that 96 has been in the last 2 weeks. That's a big percentage, dude. That's a huge percent. Of that, So that's 75% of that, just about.
I hate that we always say this shit. We're like, oh, well, they got 40 yards on that one run.
Right, well,
so if you take away that one play, if you take away last week, Joe, we would be we'd be 2-1.
We'd be 3-1.
Well, yeah, if you gave us a win for it, but if you just took it away entirely.
The positives. Look at the positives. We had that discussion Sunday. This is the best record we've ever had under Ron Rivera with 4 games in. And this time last year, what were we doing? Fire Ron Rivera. Fire McDermott.
What are we doing this year?
Fire Dave Gettleman.
Fire Ron Rivera. No, I'm worried. I'm worried about Ron Rivera at this point. Is that he looks a little shook. I think he's finally just been broken a little bit by not the pressure, man. God, imagine the work week that dude has gone through for the last 2 weeks. I think about this, like when my work week gets thrown off at work, I'm a very routine kind of dude since, and then when you throw in this on a Tuesday and you throw in this little extra work and then the kid gets sick on this day or something like that, it's just like berserko for that week. So imagine giving up 75 points in 2 weeks, Greg Hardy being beat, it's just awful. So tell me about the defense of Chicago, though, because I'm about to end the podcast and just go rusty razor blade it in the bathroom.
Chicago's defense has given up somewhere in the neighborhood of 110 or 113 points so far this season. They are, they've got some young players, and they've got some old players like Lance Briggs. He's still there, so he's a savvy vet, but he's probably not the athletic linebacker that he was at one point. Still able to make plays, though. Chris Conti is a safety. He's nicked up, but I think the big surprise is Kyle Fuller.
Yes, a West Virginia kid, right?
I
No,
thought it was
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Virginia Tech.
Yeah, yeah,
Virginia Tech.
Virginia
They
Tech.
just spit them out. There's been 3 Fullers that have come out of Virginia Tech.
Right.
All brothers.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
I
I mean,
did not
there's
know
3.
that.
We just our boy Justin Hardy played against Kendall Fuller, which is Kyle's younger brother, and he is awesome. So basically, we missed on Kyle Fuller, but there's a good chance. There's a chance we could get Kendall.
Maybe, and if he's as good as Kyle's been, I'm down with that.
My man has been playing great, hasn't he?
Yeah,
He
he
had 2
has been.
picks in a game.
Yeah, and he had 2 picks in the game, and I think he forced a fumble too, or something like that.
He was awesome, dude.
And he
He
only
is
came in.
awesome.
He came in late in the game because somebody got hurt. Jennings. What do they call him? Peanut. Their cornerback got hurt. He tore his, I think, biceps, so he's out for the year, maybe a career ender. And then Fuller came in and played well, so that's something you got to look out for. Um, and Jared Allen, if he plays, do I really need to say anything more than that? He's a pass rushing beast. He'll be
No, actually,
destroying.
I hope he plays. Did you hear why he was out last week? He had pneumonia.
Yeah, illness. That's right.
Well, they said illness, but my man had pneumonia. And Joey, you know how that debilitating that can be.
Yes.
He lost 18 pounds.
Holy cow! So he
Yes.
had real bad pneumonia.
He lost 18 pounds, and he tried to get out on the field. That's what I love about this. Is my man wanted to play football for his millions of dollars so bad that he had lost 18 pounds that week or some whatever. See, that's the thing with pneumonia, man. I'm sorry. I don't care how physically awesome in shape you are. Is that once you're over the illness feeling, it lingers.
It does, and it's because it's in your lungs, so it affects
Yeah,
your
man, it's
breathing.
deep.
It
It's
affects your
deep.
breathing. So you're big and strong, and you feel like you can do everything, but then you get up and you start moving around, and you're sucking for air. Before you know it, you're right back in that bed. Like, good Lord, what the heck was I thinking?
I hope he plays. I hope he plays. He lost 18 damn. I hope he throws up on the field right on Byron Bell's feet.
Oh,
I
man.
mean, what? I
And
mean,
Byron Bell
seriously.
would probably
What if Byron
slip
Bell
in.
got beat? Yeah, what if Byron Bell got beat like a drum by a dude with pneumonia?
That would really be it. Um,
Well,
well, there's a chance he may not play then, because that's that's a significant illness. It's not like he had a.
whatever. My man is
Yeah.
gonna if you were, does he play defensive end?
Yes, he does.
Okay.
And he
Uh,
plays
if
right defensive end that goes
if
against the
you
left tackle.
if you were a defensive end and you had all the weeks in the whole schedule, and Byron Bell comes up on the schedule, are you gonna miss that game, Joe?
Heck no. I'll be getting IVs on the sidelines just to keep me hydrated enough to keep going because you're gonna earn all your bonuses in one game.
You could trick them into believing you were as good as they paid for a moment. I mean, think about it. Is that every free agent is overpaid
Yes.
when they're late and they're a big name in their career? So is that, Jared Allen, is he a good player? Yes. Was he good in Minnesota? Yes. Was he better 2 years ago than he is going to be this year when he doesn't have pneumonia? Sure, I think so.
Yeah.
But he got the big number because he's the one out there. He's available.
Right.
And, so he could pad the numbers a lot, even if it's not even for making the money, just to make himself look viable. You would think you would be licking your chops. So Byron Bell expects him to throw up in your face. Okay, let's go ahead and call it, Joe. Let's call the game. Are the Panthers going to win this game at home?
I think the Panthers will win this game. I think it's
Why? Why?
why?
Are you just because you're a homer?
No, I think because Cam and KB are gonna really be in sync this week. I think Cam. I saw what I thought to be frustration last week in Cam, and I think he's like,
Everybody saw it, dude.
right. I think he's like, forget this. I gotta do it. I gotta step up. I tried to make it a team game and try to be the team, the team leader, but at this point, I gotta do it. So he's gonna go back to Auburn, Cam Newton, and he's gonna find KB several times. I think this is gonna be the biggest game of the year for KB. And Greg Olsen, think about this, Tony. Greg Olsen's going home. This is sort of a homecoming for him, or I guess a welcoming party because he used to play for the Bears.
He's not going home. They're coming to us.
Yeah, I know. That's what I meant. It's going to be, he's playing against his former team is what I meant.
So what is he going to do? Break a tackle?
He did break one last week, I thought.
No, he did not. He has never broken a tackle.
He did have a nice run, though, after a catch. He did right along the sideline.
Nobody was around him. Yeah. That's not breaking a tackle. What, he break the air?
He kicked off his snowshoes, and he got 15 yards after the catch.
He was just running open field. Like, it's just running in the middle of a snow field. Look like my kid when it first snows and they wake up in the morning. They run out there. And no footprints out there. All right, so look, I gotta give some shout outs here because our faithful, we got a record-setting audience tonight. By the way, Joe, with the technical difficulties, we are crushing it. I was gonna, by the way, Susan, I was gonna play that bass song. I've been trying to work on getting some sound effects worked into this podcast. I was gonna play it today as our intro, but then the whole dang show crashed before. I don't know, it was weird. So she says this. She said we're not getting a Christmas card from Byron Bell. That's what Susan said.
That's for sure.
All right, as I don't think we are, and nor look, come to Christmas and help me. Give me a ticket or something. That's what I want. I don't want a Christmas card. I want some money back at some time of my life. Oh, so you think we're gonna win it, Joe?
I do. I think it's not gonna be. I don't think we're blowing anybody out by any means, but I think it'll be a close game. I think we'll win something along the lines of 23-20, 2017, somewhere around there. Our defense, Frank Alexander coming back does help the defense. We get to Jay Cutler better than we've been getting to quarterbacks, in the last two games. And our secondary isn't forced to try to cover these two giants that play wide receiver.
Because of Frank Alexander.
Not just because of Frank Alexander, but he sort of rallies the troops on the defensive line, and they all put forth greater effort than they have been.
Thomas Davis will be back, right?
Yes, I hope so. If he is, that's a tremendous.
He said in a tweet today that he tried his best to be back by Sunday, and it just didn't work out, and he would be back
this week,
this upcoming game.
If that would be huge. That would be huge. As good as Chase Blackburn is and AJ Klein. Neither one of them, the two together, don't equal to Thomas Davis.
Not even close.
Right.
Thomas Davis is the best linebacker on the team, probably, actually. Even better than Luke Kuechly a little bit. Maybe just because of the veteran aspect only. I don't know. They're pretty,
great.
Yeah. They are.
Great. They're both great.
What I'm going to say that we lose this game, Joey.
I know you are, Debbie Downer.
I'm gonna say we lose this game because I said we were gonna lose against Tampa because I was nervous, and we won. So thank you. You're welcome, Panther fans. I just gave you a favor and picked. This is what This is the reason I'm picking us to lose this week, Joey. Is that you can tell me Frank Alexander, you can tell me that all of a sudden Cam Newton's going to put this on his shoulders. He's been putting it on his shoulders, in my opinion. He's done everything possible. I don't think if he's going to go from a mall walker to a damn what he he's a mall walker, Joey. Yeah, he walks around the mall right now, and this team let me down last week. And when I say let me down, I mean obviously they're not playing for me, but I do spend a lot of time and energy cheering for this team, so I do feel invested. But I thought we were going to reach down deep inside of us and find something to muster up in Baltimore. I thought that loss by the Pittsburgh Steelers would be so galvanizing. So, just like, let's get our shit together. I can't believe it's gotten to this point. And they didn't do it. And so I just don't know why I should put faith in that to happen here. Because what we're asking, Joe, is not that we are at an advantage. Essentially, we're asking for us to play not only better than we played last week, but like 10 times better than we played last week. And that's troubling to me. So, I mean, I want to think that we could win. I want to think that this defense could be stifling. I want to say that this team is going to put up 21 points in the red zone, but I need to see it again, man. I really do. I need to see the team that played the Detroit Lions at home. And last question on the show, because we got 3 minutes left, I believe. And this is, will this crowd be, the Panther Nation? We are strong in so many ways, but sometimes in that stadium, it's not the strongest.
They can be fickle, that's for sure. They can be once they get in that stadium. And, I mean, honestly, let's be real. We need the crowd to be into this game.
Go crazy.
Right. I think that's huge. That's a huge advantage for Carolina when the crowd is loud and just makes it tough on the offense to get their signals out. That's what we really need. The crowd is vital to us winning this game. My neighbor, actually.
Do you think they'll do it, though? I mean, we all know it's important, Joe. Do you think it will happen? Because we were at the Detroit Lions game, and I believe that outside of any game that was, because I haven't been to a primetime game. I just haven't been to a primetime game, and I wouldn't have wanted to go to the Steelers one. Thank God I didn't go to that one.
For sure.
Well, I mean, we're terrible in the prime time, so I don't even understand why we would be loud. But that Detroit Lions game, Joe, was loud to me. It was the loudest I've probably, and the most. There was some real excitement. You're 1-0 to start the season. We moved to 2-0 against an offense. I just feel like you're going to come in there on Sunday with a crowd that's already, like me, worried about the offensive line, worried about the defensive production, and worried about an offense that's got giant men on the other side. I mean, are they going to be like so revved up the place is going to be shaking?
I don't know. I hope so. They should realize their importance in this game. They need to be. They need to get fired up. They need to get excited. Panther football's back. We got a chance to get into Chicago's backfield, disrupt the offense. We got a chance to cause, Cutler will force the ball so we can get some turnovers. We got to.
I hope he misses his diabetes shots tonight.
Poor man could die, Tony. Stop that. So
You
that's
can't
really
die if you miss one shot.
depends on what you eat.
Well, give that dude a candy bar or something. We need to throw off those levels just a little bit.
No, Panther Nation. If you're listening, which you better be, you need to show up for this one. In the stadium, you need to be loud. I dare say you need to be obnoxious.
Yeah.
I really do. Panther Nation, this game, we need you. We got to have you in this one to get our mojo back.
All right. So, what did you say the score was going to be? What I'm looking something up. I want you to say it. What's the Quaker Oats guy's name? Uh, um,
The Quaker Oats
like
guy?
Bramley something, or
I didn't even know he
the
had a name.
spokesman.
Yeah, the little
Spokesman.
Quaker guy.
No, the guy that says I got diabetes. His
Oh,
name is
Wilford
Wilford
Brimley.
Brimley.
Yeah, Wilford Brimley.
I say every Carolina Panther fan dresses up like Wilford Brimley and yells, "I got diabetes" on every third down. There's something. We gotta throw off the juju, man. If Jay Cutler is lights out, we're gonna have diabetes when it's all
Right,
over.
that's gonna be lights out for us if he's lights out.
Yes. So, all right. So, what did you say the score was again? Because I was
Uh,
looking his name up.
I'm thinking 20 to 17, Carolina.
2017. I'm gonna say we lose 24-13.
Wow,
I know.
that would be right at 100 points in 3 weeks we've given up.
24 points. That would be, by the way, like 12 points less than we've given up in the last two.
It would be. You're right, it'd be an improvement.
Yeah, I mean, I want to be, and I know. Look, I'm gonna get so trashed. Look, my Twitter feed is about to blow up. People are gonna be hating on me. They always hate on me. Don't worry. A lot of people love on me. I know a lot of these cats do love on me, so I'm not gonna. But a lot of y'all hate on me, and I don't know. I've gone on the radio. I picked the Panthers on the road. I just been like stubborn on a lot of things, and right now I'm worried, Joe. I'm worried. I'm worried that this defense and this actually. Let's close on this because Abby Lewis asked me earlier. Well, like just at the beginning of the show, and I missed it early on. She said this. Really, because thinking we come off a 12-4 season, we think we can hold Cats to 15 points. She asked us, did we just have more success last year than expected? Are we still in building mode fixing the cap? And to me, maybe if she's what she is essentially suggesting, Joe, is that we overperformed last year. And then we're trying to perform this year, and at this moment we're underperforming. So it's not like just moving from 12-4 to 9-7. Is that we should be 9-7, but we're playing like 6-9.
Right.
And what do you think about that statement, Joe? Or are we a team that really can win 10 games legitimately, or are we just hoping for that?
Well, I think we're capable of it. I really do believe we can win.
Well, I'm capable of winning the lottery.
Right. That doesn't mean we will. I'm just saying, if we're playing at our best, which we're not right now, that's clear, we can win 10 games. But like you said, the way that we're playing right now, we'd be lucky to win 6 games.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I won't
Right.
deny that. They're awful. This team the past 2 weeks has not resembled this team the last 2 weeks resembled more like the 2010 Carolina Panthers than the 2012 Carolina Panthers.
Except for Cam Newton. And
So
I want to uplift this. I want to raise us up. on this note because I know I've just been the wet blanket
Debbie Downer.
of Carolina Panther fans. Is Cam Newton has played remarkably well as just what everybody said he couldn't do, and that is just be a pocket quarterback. Essentially, he has been an immobile quarterback.
Yes.
He's
Very,
just
very limited mobility.
yeah. I mean, but that's what 80% of the other quarterbacks are, and he's played like like a quarterback like a good quarterback that can do that. You know what I'm saying? It's like yeah, he's been immobile, but it's not like he's been helpless. Like he's been playing well. So he just we imagine if he was playing at this level and he was at the health he was 2 years ago. Oh my lord. It would just be, we wouldn't need, of course, you could get away with Byron Bell. And that, again, raises another point with Dave Gettleman. I hate to beat the dead horse, flog the horse, but the fact is that, do you think they were unaware that his ankle has been a problem? And that, do you think they were unaware that he was going to have surgery at all? Were they
No.
so blind to that?
No, I'm sure they knew. I'm sure they knew. They had to have. They get physicals and they're always being evaluated, so they had to know. This shouldn't have come as a surprise to them.
No. I'm just, that's where I just can't get over this. Is that, and this is what I'm so upset about the Jordan Gross thing, is we just don't, and Frank Garcia said this about Steve Smith, Joe. He said it's not that we let go Steve Smith. It's like we let go without any real plan at all.
Right.
Is that, yeah, we got Kelvin Benjamin. That's awesome. But what if Kelvin Benjamin wasn't there? And what if we had picked Odell Beckham Jr., who is out, by the way, hasn't played a preseason game or a regular season game? And we all wanted Odell Beckham Jr.
Yes, you did.
You know? I mean, so what if we, so you can't just hope that everything works perfectly. And that's where I'm just so again, look, I can't even finish the show on a high note. I tried to. Cam Newton is awesome. Cam Newton has played great, but he is a mall walker. Joey, this is CarolinaCatChronicles.com, the C3 podcast. Tell them whatever you want to know.
I want you to know that Carolina Panthers are going to bring it this Sunday. They're going to show up. We're going to see some of the old some of last season's Carolina Panthers. I'm Joe Riolano. You can follow me on Twitter at Joe Riolano. I wanted to mention, anybody that's looking for tickets to the game, please come to CarolinaCatChronicles.com. If you're looking for tickets to the Bear games, go to our site. You can go to Ticket Monster, and they'll take care of you right there.
Yeah, well, that's a good plug because they will take care of you. And you might even support a small business on the rise. We must defend this house.
We must defend this house.
Well, Joey, it's your house because everybody's going to be so mad at me. I'm so sad right now. Still. So check us out. Follow us at cat_chronicles. Thanks for, man, I'm so pleased. Not only am I pleased about this show because it's been therapeutic for me, Joey, but we've had such a great turnout tonight of people watching. So well, obviously the passion is, coming through. Even though I'm a little sad, like you keep calling me Debbie. And I'd also like to plug that we had a Monday night therapeutic session with Tom Brady. Tom Brady, I love you. This week, you were my best friend. You made me, and I'm sorry, I keep dragging it out, Joey. But what was wrong? Was he drunk?
I don't know. It was the weirdest thing.
Have you ever seen him? Even in the press conference, he looked like he had. I almost wondered if he was sick, like he had cancer or something. He
looked so bad. I've never seen Tom Brady play that poorly. I could not believe it. I was like, my God, who is this guy that's back there wearing 12? And speaking of which, I wanted to ask you, did you notice after the defensive back for the Chiefs scored his interception return for a touchdown, he
Yeah.
bent down and like the manner that an Islamic person would to pray. Did you notice
Assalamu
that?
alaikum.
He,
Yeah. Assalamu alaikum.
right, I don't know what you call it, but that's what
I think that is. I think that says like. I think assalamu alaikum means like.
it's a greeting, I think.
Yeah, it's a like I love you and like I love God and peace be with you.
Right. Well, he did that, and nobody they didn't mention it on the the broadcast, of course, but a
They
lot of people
flagged him
mentioned
though.
it. I know, but I don't think it was because of the prayer. I think it's because you're not supposed to get on the ground when you do a celebration. You're not allowed to get on the ground. You have to stay on your feet.
Well, you know what? They should make me in charge of the NFL rules and the rules committee because the No Fun Football League can meet the saddest person on earth, and we will make the most sad creation of a game ever.
I mean, no
I mean, my man,
celebrating, nothing,
none. You can't even pray.
no
That's
high
cheating.
fives.
I would say it's the Puritan version of football. Is that if you're having fun, you're sinning. The other thing about that is that I will go ahead and say the reason they threw the flag on him is because he was cheating.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. If you pray in a game where people have equal standards, you're cheating.
No.
Why? If a
Um,
divine being steps in for one side but doesn't step in for the other side, it's cheating.
anything God cares about who's doing what?
Then why
Football.
even do it? Okay, I'm not gonna have the philosophical concept. All right, well that's it.
That is
Is
it.
I'm gonna Panther Nation. Question is this: is that if we pray tonight for Panthers to win, is it cheating? And if it is, I don't care. I'm praying for it. Praying tonight. Please make me wrong, Jesus. Please make me wrong. CarolinaCatChronicles.com. Check us out every Tuesday night, 10 o'clock, even though we had those technical difficulties tonight. We brought it hard, on fire.
On fire.
The wildfire. Good night.